This latest assassination attempt sent shockwaves yet again across Georgia and across the country. Atlanta News First Bridget Spencer talked with a retired Secret Service agent about what unfolded. Bridget.
Right, that professional I talked to really is simply appalled at what happened, but he also highlighted the fact that this happened 2 months prior, another assassination attempt. That's why he's also shocked by what happened. Earlier today, I spoke with Ray Moore. He is a retired special agent in charge. He has a 32-year career with the Secret Service. He also worked at the Atlanta field office for 6 years. He says when things like this happen, everything really changes. Security gets ramped up, and the Secret Service sometimes reevaluates their protocols after something like this. Now, with Governor Tim Walz expected to visit our state pretty soon, Ray Moore says he's pretty certain this possible assassination attempt is top of mind for candidates. It's safety mainly is top of mind right now, especially as we lead ourselves into the election. Now, he says in this case, the agents demonstrated normal protocol.
They were doing everything they were supposed to do in this instance. When you're covering somebody on a golf course, you have a team way out front, a team in the back, and then you have people paralleling him as he goes from hole to hole.
Now, certainly lawmakers all over the country, as well as here in Georgia, are both reacting to what happened. A lot of them, of course, sending their well wishes to former President Trump, and they are saying that they're glad, of course, that he was not harmed. We're live in Atlanta tonight. Bridget Spencer, Atlanta News First.